book is based on a survey where men and women were asked if they got 80% of everything they want in their ideal mate, would they be happy with that? And women said, no, that's settling. And men said, 80%, I'd be thrilled, that's a catch. And so
80% of the women you surveyed is settling?
That's settling because, the question is, what actually makes us happy in long-term romantic love? And, that's the question that I explore in the book. And I'm a journalist, so I went out and I asked neurobiologists about chemistry, and I asked behavioral economists about demographics, and I asked marital researchers.
What are women too picky about here?
Well, I'll tell you, men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date. And men named 3 things. They said she has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She just has to be cute enough. She has to be warm and kind. And she has to be interesting to talk to. Those seem like really valid criteria.
Ding, 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 ding. Pretty simple.
Right. Okay, reasonable, right? The women came back with 300 things that would rule out a guy for a second date. And we're talking about like another 2 hours and maybe a free dinner. And they wouldn't do it. And there were things like he wore a brown belt with black shoes. Or we were having a really good time and I thought he was cute and he was interesting. But then he did this Austin Powers impression. And I just can't get that out of my mind and I can't go out with him again. Austin Powers guy could be the love of her life.
Welcome, my friends, to the RP Experience. My name is Antoine Phoenix, and welcome, my brothers and sisters. Thank you for hitting the like button, subscribing, sharing, and turn on all notifications so you know when I have a whole new video up. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. Mine did not go as planned because the turkey I got might have been bad. So we had to toss it. Damn. Anyway, so I'm doing the video right now. And with this video, this is not all women here because, as I will say, I do see women that's out here with regular dudes. Now, of course, though, I don't know if they are with them for sincere reasons or if it's a guy that constantly kept begging and begging to be with them after they kept picking this guy and that guy and this guy and that guy, not to just go on dates, to be in full-blown relationships with, to get intimate with, and then because that guy just kept hanging there and I guess somewhat improving, she decided to give him a chance. So in other words, she settled. Now, to women out here, I want to give you a secret that I haven't said in a while. A lot of men settle. Do all men settle? No. But when I think about it, most of the women that I got involved with, I settled. Now, the thing is, though, certain things I will not settle on. Number one is I have to be attracted to her. She doesn't have to be a swimsuit model or she don't have to have a great ass, even though I don't want it to be flat. And she don't have to be big, have to have big boobs, which I'm not really a big boob guy anyway. They can actually be like small, but if they're small, she has to have legs and a nice butt and of course a pretty face. And every man is different with this particular thing right here. Now, I say this because I settled with a lot of things, with either a woman being a little overweight, a woman being a little, well, having too many tattoos, having too many guy friends. I have not settled on this, but men settle on women having OnlyFans or having their OnlyFans in the past, having high body counts, even though, once again, that's not a well, I'm not going to say that's not a big thing. It depends on the number of bodies, especially if it's reaching triple digits. Truthfully, I don't want to know because I realize people can change. But the one thing I do know for sure is a person's type. And that's why for me, the type of dude that she generally goes for is my gauge on if I will fuck with her. So if she mostly go for drug dealers, thugs, hoodlums, or preppy rich guys or things like that. Now, of course, though, she could be trying to change what she goes for, but I'm pretty sure there's some things with that she keeps picking that she really loves that I probably do not have. So I'm not going to force her to pick me knowing what I know now because she's going to end up hurting me in the future. She's either going to cheat on me or either just dump me for some other guy. That's the same thing with women that will only date guys over 6 foot. I'm not going to shame her because I have been able to get some very attractive women in my past to give me validation that there are women out there that do love and appreciate me for me. So just the fact that a woman is just going to diss me because I'm too short, I'm like, well, fuck you then. Okay, I've got women that probably look better than you. And yeah, I'm not going to get too much in this. Anyway, I have some videos to share right now before I start rambling on. And the first video, okay, I forget what order I'm going to do this. So I'm just going to share the clip right now.
A relationship truly only works when a woman settles for a man that she considers mid.
That would be, of course, mid women settling for mid men.
I used to talk so much about girls who settled, and now I hope to become one.
She used to reach out of her league, and now she is aging, so she hopes to grab somebody on the way down.
Because when a woman does the opposite and falls in real love with someone she's attracted to and who's at her level, it's a disaster.
Here's where she gets confused. Attracted to and at her level are not the same thing unless you're up here. It's a disaster because you're going out of your league and he doesn't really want you.
That's when the power dynamic and balance gets thrown off kilter because the man doesn't hold her on a pedestal.
Yes, we all know that putting her on a pedestal is the best way to get what you want. Women love men who are below them.
So she never has the upper hand.
Exactly, because this is what you do when you have the upper hand.
And that makes her feel crazy, delulu, out of control.
Yes, Michael Sartain told me yesterday that's called dread. I was on his podcast. I'm going places.
Because what we're supposed to do as women is just like being receptive.
So now she's mocking the idea of respecting the man that she chose, which is a pretty good idea as long as he treats you well.
Like allow him to pursue us and chase us, like even in a long-term relationship. If you're with a man you're not even really that attracted to, you're gonna do that naturally because you don't give a
So if you're with a guy on your level, he's gonna be chasing you all the time because you're not really attracted to him.
do that naturally.
Look how mad she is.
But if you're in love, you give so many
Yes, if you're in love, then you definitely do give a lot of those.
These couples you know that have made it work and are together in our modern society have followed this formula.
Remember, she's saying nothing wrong. She is spot on about how to solve the problem. It's just from the female perspective.
Oh, yes, I decided on the whole math clip first. I want to intercede in this at this point right now. This is a good strategy for a lot of people to do. I did this in my last serious relationship with a girl. I mean, she was cute, but if I was comparing her to how my ex-wife looked and some of the other girls that I've dated, she was definitely lower. And once again, that's not to take away from her from the looks thing. It's just that she was a bit heavier. Now, the thing was, she made up a lot with us having a great friendship, communication, skills off the chain, and she was a bit younger than me. But I had a lot of fun with that woman. And at first, I was like, let me see where this goes. I was uh I found her cute, but I wasn't as attracted to her as some of my past loves. Now, the thing was, when I spent time with her and our connection got deeper, then I forgot about all that stuff, like her being a little bit heavier than what I'm used to. Just the time that we shared together just made me fall in love with her. Now, this tells me that this can sometimes happen to women too, that have those high standards. If you give a guy a chance that's close enough to what you want, he might surprise you and then you fall for him. Now, sometimes that dude might play you. And the only time I think that happens is if the dude, like, I'll use for example that singer. I can't think of his name right now. He has like the red hair. And this woman was saying like he ghosted her. Now I'm looking at him and I'm like, he's like really average, somewhat below average looking, going by what I know women usually like. And I'm not sure how tall he is. But because his stats went up in the music industry, and I'm pretty sure he started attracting women for that reason alone, his head probably did start to get bigger. So whereas when he would start to meet these women now, he probably would start acting funny, just because like now he has the status and he has the money and he has the female attention. So that's the only time I think those guys will play a woman, is if you did give him a chance and he was here and then he did something that made him famous and then he went up to here, then he might start acting funny towards you. Same thing with a woman that's like overweight and then she lost all her weight and then she got a lot of attention from a lot of dudes. The man that she's with that accepted her where she was at and now she's up there getting new attention, she probably will leave him or play him. So that's something to look out for. Anyway, I'll let them finish this video.
Nice guy who the woman isn't attracted to and who she never considered being with finally wore her the down until she said, ugh, fine, I guess. Because the attractive ones are putting me into a crazy, anxious cycle. And now that woman is bored and sexually unfulfilled, but she's secure. At least she has that. Emotional security, the most important element for a woman to have to ensure success in a romantic partnership.
If you listen to women, they will tell you everything that I tell you. All these women are only attracted to these men. And so these women have to choose between being used and discarded or being sexually unfulfilled. There's the fun choice and the smart choice, and there's nothing anyone can do about it because there's not enough of these men to go around. This is one of the main points that I'm making. Women here need to stop believing that they are here because these guys are not going to marry you. They're going to put you here, and then you're going to be sad. And when you come to these guys later in life, they're going to say, well, where the hell have you been for the last 20 years? And then everyone's sad. Again, this woman has the right idea. The only thing she said wrong was that these guys were on her level. Your level is the guys who will put you on the pedestal.
A relationship truly.
Now, Math did not catch this, but she said an interesting thing there. Is this why a lot of women get bored in their relationships? Because they get married to men that they are not really into. And at a certain point, they just can't take it no more. So, I mean, besides the thing of like, if a guy's cheating or abusing her, hitting her, that type of stuff right there. But when she wakes up one day and say, I don't love you anymore, he's a great guy, but she's bored. She's not sexually fulfilled. This is why I think as men, we play a dangerous game when you're trying to force a woman to be attracted to you and she is not attracted to you. This is why, I don't know, that's another reason why I'm encouraging men maybe to travel more. Not to say it's not vipers out there in the other countries, but I just think you have more of a selection to pick from of women that's automatically into you right off the rip. So you have kind of the woman's dilemma of like trying to pick the best one out of the barrel, but at least most of them want to be with you. So I would rather have that problem instead of having the selling problem that most men have of like taking the woman that likes him, basically. Like, this is how I think at least half of the dudes that are with women that that's probably not his type, but he just accepts it because, well, that's the best I can get. And to be honest, I'm from Philadelphia. And when I met my ex-wife, even though she and I had issues, she was the best that I could get at that time. And I say this not in like a bad way, but because most of the women that was that type, they was on drugs, they were super 304s, they was all in the streets and such. So, I mean, she was the best of that. So in a way, I settled on her. And I say only that because of the fact of she had issues that I had to deal with, like an ex-boyfriend, or matter of fact, they was never boyfriend and girlfriend, but a guy that was her first choice that she was like fawning all over. And I always felt a little threatened by that. I'm like, look, if you're going to pick him, I'm thinking to myself here, you go ahead and pick him instead of stringing me along or being with me a significant amount of time and then dumping me to go with him. Or worse yet, have an affair with him while us two are in a relationship and eventually get married. And then I have to wonder, like, is that really my kid and stuff with the information that I have now, but we have moved away from there. So I don't think I had to worry about that particular thing. And anyway, I have another clip now by Coach Greg Adams, which he made a great short video of this right here that I have to share. So let's check this out.
This is a damn shame, man. What are we doing in this damn world today? We need to make the world a better place. All right, a couple more things here. We have Ayana Von Zant filling in about why today's women are mean and aggressive. Let's let her speak on it, and you can figure out what's going on. They're in survival mode. Here we go.
Women today are a lot more aggressive in our approach to life in general.
Right.
And we've done more work than them. So we have some things that are solid that they don't. And they've got to catch up.
Oh my
Now, what
God.
do you mean by we're more aggressive women today, and why do you think that is?
Well, oh Lord, help me.
It's okay. Listen, we know how you get down. Come on, say it to us.
You know,
say it, beloved.
we have become what I call men in skirts. We are so aggressive, so demanding, so unaware, really. We think we got it going on, but women really aren't aware of their power because our power as women is silent.
I agree with that. What is going on with, never mind.
If you really know what you're doing, you can work a room.
Yeah. You think I've been told I'm bossy.
Yeah.
in relationships?
We are, because I think we've been left alone and up to our own devices for too long. I find women to be mean as hell. Women today are a lot more aggressive in our approach to life in general.
Yeah, they become men in skirts. I agree with that. And they become manly. All right. And this is why they can't keep a man. That's why they can't keep a man. It's not working for you. And we're into the crises here in America. Now, this woman's going to explain this right here.
Men are like dogs, and
Oh, God. I didn't mean for y'all to hear that. This woman's going to explain how women grow up to end up this way. All right. Because they eventually want us to do the work and us to come to the table. Correct. This young woman right here, she reminds me of somebody I know. She's going to explain. She's going to explain how this happens. And she's going to validate or back up something that I talked about yesterday about how women have a mystery guy that exists in their head, and all their life they formulate and plan their life around this mystery man, meaning that they think about their wedding. They think about where they're going to live. They think about how many kids they want. They name their kids, how many kids they're going to have, how many kids, what gender they're going to be, how they're going to raise them, how they're going to behave. It's all a fantasy. And you exist as a question mark silhouette. Most of the time, they have a idea of the race, the size, and whatnot. Let me find a silhouette so we can do this here. The question mark silhouette person we talked about yesterday. Men are just the utility. Men are just a fantasy in a woman's head. Men are ends to a means to an end. Men are the ready, set, mix. Men are the, here you go, you're here, okay, you're the dog now. You fill in the void. And so in their mind, the mythical creature you exists to serve them, to provide for them, to give them all of these things. They cannot move forward until this man exists. But they already, when they're 12, they start this. When they're 8 with their Barbie and Ken, they start this. We're playing with He-Man and GoBots and Voltron. And we're playing, Crash Derby. And we're jumping bikes off of ramps. And we're playing video games. We just want to get our salami wet. We don't think about these other things. Insert Gump here. And now this woman's going to explain why women feel like they failed in this endeavor and they can't find the right guy. Hit it.
Why do we see so many women leaving good relationships? She's leaving him because she wants the fantasy man. When she was younger, because she couldn't have her needs met every single time by the father, she created the fantasy man. And this man was everything to her, and he follows her along in her mind every day until she's an adult woman. And when she dates, she looks for the fantasy of that man in every man that sat opposite her at a table drinking that glass of wine. Is he listening to me? When I say things, is he excited? Does he want to hear all about my life? If I was to cry, is he going to hold me? She's looking for that fantasy man. And every time that man across the table shows her an inkling that maybe he's not 100% perfect, she's like, no, I'm on to the next guy.
Bruh. Wait. Now let's stop right there. I don't think women do it as quick as this. They do in the dating phase when they have a lot of options. And a lot of times I think when they get around that 28 to 30 plus thing, when they're looking for a specific dude to either marry or start getting serious with, then they'll start just definitely checking dudes off that do not meet certain qualifications. I don't think they do this in their early 20s. I think they're more about having fun, and if they come across the guy, then they'll take in stock. Now the scary thing with this is that a woman could do this over time, meaning she could get with a guy, settle, be with him for years, get married, have a kid, then start displaying certain characteristics that she's unhappy. She wants to be out of it. She'll start doing reckless things to try to push the man to push the red button. Like, let's say you don't like a woman that smokes. Then all of a sudden she just starts smoking in front of you. She starts doing things that you know that she knows that you do not like. And she starts doing it kind of like a fuck you to a certain degree. And when you won't push the eject button, then she will start acting more and more toxic until it implodes or explodes anyway. Because if a woman wants to be with you, she loves you, she's really down for you and things like that. She will really try to make things work. She'll cry when y'all having like fights or something. And that's how I guess it went with me and my ex-wife. She did that early in the beginning, but see, I believe because of the leverage thing. Like, I could leave and she's left with nothing. And I believe that now, that when you're dealing with women, maybe this goes the other way too, but especially when you're dealing with women, you have to have that leverage of, you can leave with no strings attached. Like, leave, and I am that type. Like, hey, um my last heartbreak really did affect me, but I think because it happened after my marriage ended. But I can leave and not talk to the person ever again. I can leave and not want to reach out. And like some dudes, they'll be sending them D pics and stuff like that. No, not me. When we are done, we are done. Anyway,
That's not the guy for me. That's not the guy for me. He's not aligning with me. If she's lucky enough to find a relationship, if she's blessed enough to have a husband, every time they fall out, she goes, yeah, you know what? He just doesn't meet my needs. He's not understanding me. She thinks that there's a man out there, this fantasy man, that's going to meet her needs 100% and is going to understand her 100% of the time. This man does not exist. It is an illusion that you have to break. No man is going to understand you 100% of the time. No individual is going to meet your needs 100% of the time. You're not even going to meet your own needs 100% of the time. It's an illusion. Why?
Man, she hit the nail on the head. This is what I've been trying to explain. This is why the divorce rate is crazy. And then they say, well, we're divorcing you for a reason. And I'm like, the reason is probably stupid. All right. It's probably because you have entitlement syndrome. We call it delusional entitled syndrome. You think a man's supposed to be out here batting 1,000, throwing a shutout, throwing a perfect game. You think we supposed to just be blocking everything at the rim. And what happens is you'll have one shortcoming or one thing that looks like a shortcoming, and she'll go out there and run out there and divorce you, leave you. She'll be in the court of public opinion. He abusive. He did this. He ain't doing that. He ain't doing what he's supposed to. And they run out there and implode everything. And they say, well, he wasn't. But it's in your head. It is not what he didn't have as a shortcoming. You had entitlement, delusional entitlement syndrome. You thought Prince Charming that you had in your head was going to be there. Same thing as single women. They think this ninja just going to show up and be perfect. And then when he ain't, they work on it, work it. And when he don't change, bounce. There's another one. Okay. And let me go find another one. Where's my next simp that's just going to do what I want him to do, as if he don't have nothing else going on in his life? He doesn't have work, trying not to get fired, trying to save his job, trying to feed himself, trying to feed his family. He don't have nothing else going on, but trying to do your will. Help around the house. A lot of guys are saying, forget that shit. Forget it. There's no pleasing them. And I'm here to tell you, the way I do it, I say women are not to be pleased because it's impossible. You can't do it. This is just you throwing a lot of time and energy into the abyss. There's no reward. All you're going to do is raise the bar, and she's going to become more delusional. That's all you did. Or I'll help around the house more. You raise the bar. So then when you stop helping around the house, or she comes up with the next goalpost to move, now the bar, she moves it up. Oh, I got him to move it up. Let me move it up. And I'm going to play a video by a woman acknowledging this. Stop with this bullshit. All right, let me play this video of this lady here talking about men are dogs. You got to train them. They see your ass as just a goofy ass simp utility out here. All right, here we go right here.
Men are like dogs and they need positive reinforcement. The reason why acting like a bitch or being mean works well on them is because you are withholding that positive reinforcement and giving it out in little tiny crumbs. Whereas most girls lead with the positive enforcement. They lead with smiley faces and all the texts and oh, haha, that's okay, and oh, I'm excited to see you, la, 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 la. All the ego validation. You are just constantly full throttle all the time. When you're a bitch or when you're mean, you do not give out positive reinforcement at all. No smiley faces, no ha-has, no long paragraphs, no checking up. Oh, how was your day? Oh, what are you doing? Oh, no interviews, none of that. So then when you do give that validation, you do give that positive reinforcement, it hits different. Then they're like, okay, I'm doing something right. Yay, she does like me. The rest of the time, he's wondering, does she like me? Does she want to see me? Is she going to come out with me? Then when you do give that little smiley face, that little, I'm excited to see you, then they value it way more. While every other girl they're talking to, constantly texting them, constantly asking them questions.
Yeah.
Coach Greg Adams is denying this, and it probably would not work on him or me. I don't think that particular strategy works on older men, but men that are young. And another factor is men that don't have options or don't have too many women stay. Don't have too many women. This is a good mic, but it tends to do that. So once my funds get to a certain extent, I guess I'll have like the whole studio thing. But for now, we are balling on a budget. Anyway, back to what I was saying. That particular thing would work with men that maybe he had like one girlfriend and she's dated and been with maybe 20, 30 guys with lots of guy attention, guys flooding her DMs, and she gets like a lot of experience. He has lack of experience and he don't have too many women that he found interested in him. That type of thing would work. And the thing was, that will work on a lot of men, because a lot of men are not Chad and Tyrone. They're not Pookie and Ray Ray. They're not rich and famous. I mean, I have to be honest, I guess that would somewhat work on me when I was younger, except for she can't be too evil. Like that was always a turn off for me, because I guess I was being rejected when I was younger, and when I was being rejected, they was being nasty like that. So the only way is if the woman was nice to me, and then in certain spots she would be nasty. Yeah, because I have to put my ex-wife in the bitchy woman category, which is she could be nice, but she could be like downright evil at times. But it would always be like a switch. So those type of personalities would attract me, especially if they look good. And that's another thing, if I did not say, it depends on her looks. I know it's women that are very attractive can get away with a lot of shit, because a man will be like, oh, I'm so happy I was able to get my dream girl. And the same thing, I guess, like a woman have a dream man, a man has a dream woman. Of course, though, his dream woman, we don't, especially when we are younger, we don't put as much stock into her personality and all this stuff she has to have. She just has to be like nice, and then I guess some of us will model her after our mom. So if our mom was kind of like evil and snapping on us and stuff, we'll think that's kind of normal. So I just want to somewhat clear that up. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I don't have too much to add to that conversation right here, but I will say that men have a similar thing, but society somewhat slaps us back to reality, saying that we should not pit a thing that a woman should be this beautiful or weigh this much and be this age, even though now a lot of men are starting to fight against that. And we pretty much know once we have more money and status, we can pretty much pick who we want to pick. But that personality, though, is still a thing that you have to nail down. Now, was one other thing I want to say before I leave here, but like me right now, even though a lot of guys will say like, "Oh, dating is dead" and things like that. Yeah, I still go on dates. Thing is, though, I don't go all out, and then usually it's like women that I know, and there's women that I know that they move around. They're in California, then they're over here, then they're in Orlando. Obviously, they're doing something. And I guess in a way, I'm a little bit in these streets, but I don't want to be in the streets. But I guess I'll come out and engage in the streets for a while, get what I need, and then get out of it or something. I have no desire to stay or really be in that, because I know if I keep messing with the same types of women, that will be the type of woman that I'll eventually end up with. So yeah. Anyway, give me a like, a subscribe.
They say as a man you should always get a high-paying job so that you can potentially take care of a family. But you should also make sure you have enough spare time to spend with your spouse so that they don't get lonely. If you're a father, you need to be there for and support your children. But don't try to guide them or structure them or especially discipline them in any way, or you're abusive. You're expected to be masculine in order to be attractive. But you should also get in touch with your sensitive side. But not enough to cry, because that makes you look weak. Women are allowed to hit you, but you should never hit them back. If you even want the chance of having a woman, be prepared to take her out to a fancy dinner in a fancy car and get her flowers and drinks and all of that. But don't expect or ask for anything in return, because then you're pushy. Remember, you have to dote on the girl in every possible way. But in the end, it's her decision as to whether or not all of your time and energy was worth her giving you anything in return. And if she leaves you after a 6-year-long relationship, remember, she's just doing what's best for her. But if you leave her after 6 years, you're a scumbag who obviously never cared. Make sure you're intelligent, or women are going to look down on you. But women are always right, so they're going to look down on you anyway. Plus, if you're really smart, they're going to see you as arrogant. And be confident, because confidence is sexy. But don't be cocky. Sleep with too many women and you're just a man whore who's afraid of commitment. But don't sleep with enough women and you're less desirable because of your inexperience. Be independent, but do what you're told. Have high standards, but not high expectations. Accept women at their best and their worst. But change every negative aspect of yourself in order to prove your love. You're a man, you should have all the answers. But if you have all the answers, you're a narcissist.
Dirty work. Your ego has driven you out of truth.